Hello, creatives. Welcome to Girl Gang Craft, the podcast. We have JoAnne from ACT Insurance on here in a sponsored episode to talk all about vending insurance, which I'm sure a lot of you have questions about. So we are going to hop right into it. Welcome to the podcast, JoAnne.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So tell us exactly who you are and what you do for ACT Insurance.
So I have been with Addon Insurance since 2015. I've been with us for a while. I'm a program manager, which means I have to change the programs, help make sure they sell, we have the right coverages. So I do quite a bit between the insurance company and our customers to make sure that our product is exactly what they need.
Awesome. And let's just ask the basic question. What is insurance?
Okay, let's dig in. Insurance is really a way to control the risk of your business. Most often that's due to lawsuits because of someone slipping and falling on your premises, or in cases, someone being injured by your product. So that's one of the best ways to insulate your business and yourself from lawsuits that could have a devastating impact on your business.
So who is your insurance for?
Our insurance is for artists and crafters, anyone who makes something and wants to sell it. So at ACT, we do have two different kinds of insurance policies. We have one that's a very basic one. It's called our short-term or our show policy. That's meant for your vendors, crafters that may not need a full insurance policy yet, but they just need to get into a show. Your venue, your farmer's market, your crafts, your online store is requiring you to have some kind of insurance. We can cover that. And then we have the annual policy, which is a bigger, more comprehensive policy that would cover your general liability, your product liability, all your shows, and then we can add some other specialty coverages, which we can get into.
So what kind of incidents would this insurance cover if you are a maker at a craft fair?
Our show coverage does, it will cover for slip and falls, for your products, and maybe your tent blows into someone's car at an event. So it would cover things like that. It's always a third party. It's where it covers your business is protecting you from being sued and for paying for those claims. So it will help you get into show. That's the number one reason we really put this program out and at the price points that it is. But it does help you for slips, trips, and falls, for any kind of damage that your business may do to someone else.
And does it also cover if someone sues you, right? So it covers for the lawyer, the legal fees as well, right?
We do cover defense costs on any covered claim. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And so who should have insurance?
Everyone. If you're selling a product, regardless of if this is a hobby, if you're still sort of in the entrepreneurial phase and you're doing this or this is your full-time job, you should have that insurance to protect yourself.
And then, so does this cover retail owners as well, or is that sort of a different category?
We cover people who sell through retail outlets, such as consignment stores, or stop airplanes. Just let's start that.
So does this insurance also cover retail store owners, or is that a different kind of insurance?
That is a different kind of insurance if you physically own the retail store and operate it. However, for any consignment type business, for your online stores, such as Etsy, for any of your fairs and shows where you're leasing the space to sell it, for that, more like the consignment or the fairs. But no, once you run and own your own retail store, such as an art gallery, for example, then this program does not work for you. It really is for that sort of home-based entrepreneur, crafter, small business.
And so, how does it protect you in an online space? What sort of incidents would it protect you against for your Etsy store, for instance?
So a lot of those online marketplaces will not help you cover a claim by one of your customers for your product. It could be that your product injured someone, that it wasn't as described. There can be a number of reasons why a customer is unsatisfied, and our insurance will help to protect that. It's not going to protect every instance, but there are even ways that we could cover a lost shipment. And so there are a lot of different coverages available in our annual policy to cover your online marketplace stores.
Awesome. And then does your insurance cover service-based businesses as well?
We do not. So we are a product-based. So we really want you to have the product as your main, your craft, your item, your handmade good. That's what the ACT program is geared for.
So if you're a service-based business owner and you have a product line, for instance, could it just cover your product line related incidents?
It could, yes.
Okay.
And also that show policy does have a lot more flexibility. So if we do have service-based vendors that are attending those craft fairs and farmers markets, they can buy our show policy to be covered for their general liability at that show. But the ACT annual does not cover those service types. That's more of a product based.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm thinking of some examples that would cover. So maybe if we had a tarot reader at one of our fairs, they could be covered for liability, but maybe that doesn't make sense if they're like an acupuncturist or a massage therapist. They probably need some other sort of insurance.
Yeah, a lot of times we get people such as insurance companies that are handing out information. We get local businesses and government entities that are handing out just informational based flyers at an events. And those are some of the service vendors that could be available to buy the ACT show policy. So we definitely see that. If your customer is a product, an ACT customer with their product, they're covered whether they're handing out information or selling their product. So, you know, it's less, as long as they have that 80% handmade business on the annual, they're going to be covered for any of their business activities while we're there, unless it's an excluded reason. Our show really, it's much more broad, doesn't have the 80% handmade minimum. And just about anyone who's attending any fair, event, show can purchase our show policy with few limitations.
Okay, awesome. And then what is the difference between, and this might be obvious to some people, but maybe not. We like to ask some of the obvious questions, but what is the difference between, you know, getting an LLC for your business versus getting insurance?
Sure. An LLC is a corporation type. It's a business entity that creates your business. So while it does protect you, as I'm the owner of this business and I'm shielding my personal assets away from the business being sued, it does not protect you against being sued or give you any protection for a lawsuit or a claim against your business. Insurance alternatively does protect you. It can protect your members of your LLC, their spouses and your spouses, your children and your employees that do work in your business when they are acting on behalf of your business. An LLC may not extend protection to all those people. And your LLC won't cover defense costs if you are in a lawsuit. Really what you generally would have to do without insurance is shut down your business and start a new one. in the worst case scenario.
So we've talked a lot about liability, like if someone trips and falls or if their product hurts someone at a show or after you sell it online, if you have the year-long coverage. So do these two insurance options, do they cover damaged items? Let's say like your tent just breaks, it doesn't hurt anyone else, or your ceramics, falls or something like that. Does this protect those damages?
General liability does not protect those items, your own personal items that you use in your business. General liability is to protect your business against claims from third parties, other vendors, other people, the venue. Let's say the venue claims that your booth or your product, your vases scratched up their floor. That's what general liability is going to cover. We do, however, with the annual policy, have an option for your business personal property, your inventory, your supplies, your equipment that is used in your everyday business.
Awesome. And so that's just like an add-on.
Correct. Yeah. It starts at $54 for the year. So it's a very inexpensive coverage to help you protect all those things that you need to use in your business.
And so you can protect your inventory. How about your equipment?
Exactly. So your computer, your tents, your cell phone that you're using to collect credit card information or take Venmo payments, all those things that are part of and used in your business would be covered. Your inventory, one note I would like to make is your inventory is replaced at the cost of the goods and not the retail value that you're selling it at. So something that we're here to help you remake that item, but not cover it at the profit that you would have made. So we want to make you whole, but not above that. So that is something to keep in mind. And then theft is covered under that, but you need to make sure your items are secured in a locked vehicle, a locked trailer, something like that. So if you leave your booth open overnight or unattended, come back to your items stolen, we may not cover that theft.
So, and then for the inventory protection, let's say you're a ceramicist, your clay and your glazes might be refunded, but the amount of time and the beautiful product that you've made is not. Okay.
Correct.
Same with a painter, right? The paints
Exactly.
and the canvas,
Yeah.
but not the product. Okay, great.
Correct.
So I have participated myself personally in 7 years now, I think, of craft fairs and haven't had any incident. Why should I start purchasing insurance for every show moving forward?
Sure. More and more often, we are seeing venues and event directors and organizers requiring the insurance to protect themselves from your customers' lawsuits. And also, it does protect your business if, let's say a customer leaves a cup of water or spills a cup of water in your booth, the next customer trips and falls. Well, that's not your fault or something that you couldn't necessarily control. If that person is severely injured, that could devastate your business financially without some general liability coverage. So it's the protect me, protect my business, keep me in business if something unexpected, unforeseeable happens.
And so let's say someone trips and falls in your booth. Are they going to sue you, or are they going to sue the venue or the city, or maybe all of the people?
They're going to sue all of the people most likely. And that's where the venues and the different organizers are starting to protect themselves by requiring that the vendors at each of their fairs and events have insurance. So your insurance would actually extend to that venue or that host of that event.
And let's see. I want to talk a little bit more about the tripping and falling and the suing. I mean, that's probably going to be thousands and thousands of dollars. And we may not have thousands and thousands of dollars, but your insurance fees are very reasonable. Can you tell us a little bit about what those breakdowns look like?
I can. Costs of our insurance are very reasonable, especially for your small businesses. Our 1 to 3 day event policy begins at $49. So you could be covered for that 3 day period, your weekend events. We have other options for a 7 day and a 90 day event that go up in price from there. But we start at $49 for that show coverage.
And for the 90 events, that might be great for people in the summer, right? If they're doing a lot of shows, or maybe even you get it again for holiday shows. So you make sure that you're covered through those chunks of times.
Yes, this is the beginning of our very busy season just for that. The holiday shows are just starting to be planned, and vendors are signing on. And we do really see a lot of customers coming to us for those. And the 90 day is perfect for that.
And so you have an annual policy as well. Can you tell us about that?
Our annual policy starts at $279. It includes coverage for any event that you're attending. So that's that general liability for your slip and falls mishaps that are caused by your business. It includes product liability, which is when your product hurts someone. It's mislabeled. Somebody's allergic to something that's used in a dye that you used in your tie-dyes for your t-shirts. It can be anything. Someone choking on a small piece of your product or something. There's a variety of reasons. Product liability is now included at that $279 for that whole year. That's where you're really going to find the benefit with your online marketplaces, your Etsy stores, is because those are the coverages that you're more likely to see through your online stores. You're not going to have a trip and fall on your online store. So that coverage is less important than your product liability. That also includes, as we've talked about, optional coverage to cover your business personal property, your inventory, your equipment, your supplies, the things you use in your business. We have coverage for professional liability. These are for people that may attend shows, but also do professional speaking on an item, how to demonstrations, they teach art classes. So that professional liability is there. That needs to be your side business, not necessarily your main business, and income needs to come from your products you're creating. But we do have an additional coverage, and we know a lot of art teachers and art professionals do teach on the side or hold how-to type seminars and things. So that's a wonderful coverage to protect yourself when you are doing demonstrations and teaching.
That's awesome. Okay. So just to clarify, you still need sort of the 80% handmade, but if you're teaching watercolor or ceramics teacher and it's 20% or whatever, you're covered for those demos as well.
Correct.
Awesome. And is there a deductible with any of your options?
So on our show policy, there is no deductible. On our annual, the only deductible applies to that optional business personal property coverage. That's $250. So it's fairly reasonable when you can get coverage up to $10,000 in a year for your equipment. So each claim that you do have, you'll have that $250 deductible. And then our basic insurance limit starts at $10,000 for the year for that 54 additional dollars on top of the $279 base price.
And anything else you want to tell us about your products or about insurance in general, maybe encouraging us to get insurance? Because listen, I know my community is not going to want to get insurance. We want to cut costs. We want to, and not have too many costs. like people already are paying for booth fees, right? And so to add another $50 on top of that, maybe that's not the most viable option. Obviously, the 90-day or the year can make sense if you're doing a lot of shows or you're doing a lot of sales. So yeah, any sort of last pushes for us to opt into insurance?
Yes, absolutely. You're going to be covered again. Your show, we started at such a reasonable price, even for a 1 to 3, that's your hobbyist that can still have a level of protection. And then we grow into, or you look at our annual policy and have so many coverages for your product, for if you misuse somebody's or use someone else's advertising in your online store and you're sued for that. That advertising injury claim could be covered also. So you have your professional, there's so much that maybe I'm an artist and you don't think about all those other exposures that you may have other than just selling your product. So really, if you need that peace of mind, that extra protection so that your business can grow and thrive, that you leave the concerns of being sued and claims up to the insurance so that you can focus on building your business and making it stronger and better and taking it from fairs to online stores and growing that way.
Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense. Well, JoAnne, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I've personally learned so much. Can you tell our audience where they can purchase your products?
Yes, our product is available at www.actinsurance.com. And there's many blogs, information, all kinds of things available to help answer even more questions. And then we have a staffed customer service department there, just a phone call away or an email or a chat away to answer any other questions that may come up. It's a quick online purchase. You can have your insurance and be covered in less than 5 minutes and be on your way to your show.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we will put all those links in the show notes so you can easily sign up for insurance for your next show. And yeah, thank you so much, JoAnne.
Thank you too. Take care.